Yesterday, House Oversight and Accountability Chairman James Comer requested the National Archives to hand over any communications that document President Biden's using an alias for business during his time as vice president. And among some of the names that allegedly he used is Robert L. Peters. And this seems to fit a pattern of behavior from the president. As House Oversight Committee compiles all sorts of evidence, President Biden had a lot more involvement with his son's business affairs than he's admitted. So what possible innocent explanation could there be for this business alias name? Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is Congressman Nathaniel Moran. He serves on the House Judiciary Committee and the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Committee on Education and Workforce. He represents the 1st Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Moran, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to have you.
Jody, it's always great to be with you. Thank you so much.
Well, listen, this is a hot potato right now. What a potential bombshell as Chairman Comer and the Oversight Committee continues to uncover this condemning evidence of the president's involvement with his son's business, when he's been claiming all along that he had no involvement. What's your reaction to the latest development here?
Well, I'm so glad that we have Chairman Comer and also Chairman Jordan at the helm pushing, and add Jason Smith to that on the Ways and Means Committee, pushing for answers, building a case. As a lawyer and as a judge, I can tell you I've seen many cases developed over the years, and sometimes it takes time. But what happens when people begin to tell lies is over time, as you discover more evidence, you begin to put that squeeze on them and you back them into a corner where it is quite evident on multiple occasions that the lies are being told left and right. Here, I don't know what to call the president anymore. Do we call him Robert Peters or Robin Ware, or do we call him JRB Ware? There's so many names now out there that Chairman Comer is having to go after. But I got to applaud him. And I'll tell you, and the American people should be rest assured in the fact that we have great leadership in these positions for oversight and accountability and for judiciary and Ways and Means, where we are systematically building a case. It's not a politicization of an issue. It's not going after somebody because they're on the other side of a political party. That's not the case. We're holding up the legal standard and saying, apply the facts to the legal standard, and you'll see that the law has been violated here, and we want answers.
Yeah, Congressman, I think that is an excellent point. As we have been covering this throughout, you have, and you're right, there's tremendous leadership right now coming from the Republican chairman, but not just the chairman, it's the members of those committees like yourself who are heavily involved in pushing this forward. And there is a systematic approach. I feel confident that you're going to get to the bottom of this. And it seems to me that some Democrats are aware, too, that you're going to get to the bottom of this. I noticed today that White House Counsel Stuart Dellery is making plans to leave that position in the White House. Do you think it's perhaps because he smells smoke in the White House, so to speak?
Well, when I read that story, I couldn't help but thinking about that frog that's in that pot of water that all of a sudden starts getting a little hotter and a little hotter. And the frog naturally wants to jump out and get away from that boiling water before it gets too hot. And frankly, I think that's what's going on here. I think that counsel for the president realizes things are fixing to get really bad really quickly. And again, it's not because of any political pursuit of the president because he's a Democrat and we have Republicans in charge of the House. It is because the rule of law must mean something in this country. And it does mean something to Republicans across the board who say, you know what, we need to go through this. We need to develop the facts. We're not going to rush to judgment, but these facts are becoming overwhelming day after day, and they're building on one another.
Absolutely. And, you know, when the rule of law is ignored at the top, it has a rippling effect all across the country, and we're certainly watching that. In fact, we're going to be dealing with the rising crime all across the country, and I can't help but believe that many people look at what's happening to the top of our country and leaders at the top, and basically with the attitude, if they break the law, then we can too, kind of thing. So you're exactly right as you put that forward. Let me, if I can, Congressman Moran, switch gears with you a little bit, as you also serve on the Judiciary Committee. and that committee chairman, as you mentioned, Jim Jordan. But he recently subpoenaed the DOJ and the FBI for documents related to their work with big tech to censor the First Amendment protected content of the American citizens. What do you expect to happen with this as things go forward?
Well, you're going to see more of what was exposed in Judge Doty's opinion. I think it's in the Western District of Louisiana about a month ago or so, or it was on 4th of July, actually, which was very apropos. He issued a preliminary injunction in that Missouri versus Biden case. And it was very interesting because as a federal judge, he took more than 100 pages to go through and systematically set out all of the violations that had occurred that provide a substantive basis to tell the president and the executive branch, you cannot communicate with social media on these issues, because going back in the past couple of years, it was quite clear. They wanted to put the crimp down on voices of opposition out there by the American people on social media platforms. And the White House was not shy about reaching out to Facebook or Twitter or whomever to say, we don't like that post. We don't like that thread. We need you to do something about it. And as I read through that opinion, I tell you what, it made my skin crawl, because that is the very essence of chilling the First Amendment. We had an executive from the very top and his staff telling social media to stop free speech on their platforms because they didn't like the opinions. They didn't like the content. That's the very essence, the very heart of the First Amendment. So I think as Chairman Jordan pushes forward on this, we're going to see even more of that. We're going to see more of what we saw in the Twitter files that were turned over after Elon Musk took over. We're going to see more of the blatant examples of the administration coming down hard on those that disagree with them. And that shouldn't happen either from a Democrat or a Republican.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And it is so chilling. I mean, when you think about something like the First Amendment under direct attack like this, it really is, it's mind-boggling. It consists of the type of things that none of us ever dreamed we would see in America. But also, if I can go further with some of the issues you're dealing with in the Judiciary Committee, the Federal Trade Commission may have allegedly at least destroyed documents that your committee has been seeking. Are we seeing a pattern here that when they see smoke, in order to have the fire, they just destroy documents, they destroy evidence? What's going on here with that situation?
Very concerning to the FTC over there. I don't know if it's a matter of cover up or incompetence, because I've questioned Chairman Khan under oath before here in the last few months. And when you talk to her about what's going on in the FTC, whether or not it's trying to get rid of non-compete agreements or get rid of independent contractor relationships or get rid of franchise relationships, there is a real incompetence at the FTC in their behavior substantively and procedurally. And we're hearing a lot of whispers about the administration over there just not able to function on a day-to-day basis. So whether or not this was an act of negligence or intentionality, it was wrong, and we need to get to the bottom of it.
What do you think you will get to the bottom of it? Because, to be honest, there's a part of me that would give a sigh of relief if it's incompetence. But given the makeup of this administration and the agencies that are taking deliberate actions against our constitutional rights and so many other things, it does raise a red flag of concern. Do you anticipate you'll get to the bottom of it?
Well, we're going to do our best. And it just takes time to build that case. I'm going to go back and say that. And I was on a teletown hall today, and my citizens, my constituents are frustrated because it seems like we can never get to the end point. And I get that. I feel that frustration. We're doing our best to follow the rules and follow the rule of law to hold people accountable. We have one half of one third of the government, and we're doing the best we can. We're going to continue. What we can guarantee is we're not going to stop. We will not stop. We're going to keep pushing as hard as we can with leadership like Jamie Comer and with Jim Jordan and Jason Smith at the helm. I'm confident we're going to get to some answers.
Congressman Nathaniel Moran of Texas, thank you so much for joining us this evening on Washington Watch. Keep up the great work.